Up with KREM begins now.
Coming up this morning on Up with KREM, well, some people are finding stimulus checks addressed to their deceased loved ones. This morning, we'll explain what to do if it happens to you.
That's just your stimulus check through direct deposit. We'll walk you through how you can sign up and help get your check as soon as possible.
Twitter employees can now work from home forever. Company leaders announced the option this week. And this morning, we want to know, given the option, would you continue working from home forever? Let us know by voting right now on the KREM 2 mobile app and on krem.com/vote. Welcome back to Up with KREM on our Wednesday morning. I'm Jen York, joined by Joshua Robinson and Thomas Patrick, filling in for Evan Narani this week. Thomas, I know you've liked being back in the studio, back with all the equipment. Do you think you could go home and work from home forever?
I'd have to come up with a plan because here's the thing. I very much enjoyed working from home. I needed more desk space though. I've got 2 monitors on my tiny desk, and then I have the station laptop that I usually just flip open, and then I got like 3 screens competing for about like 2 square feet of desk space. So it's like I need more room, and thankfully the Weather Center here at the studio offers more than enough room for all these computer screens I need.
Certainly, yeah. You need a whole extra bedroom to do that from home.
Really?
Joshua, maybe a little bit easier for us.
Yeah, I was thinking about it too. If your base of operations is home, yeah, I could definitely do that. I could figure out, how to have workplace flow from my house, but I still need that interaction with people. So maybe leaving home to do other work, that would be a possibility. But my natural reaction was, I don't know if I could do it, Jen. But I know you probably feel a little bit differently, right? You said you've been thriving in this situation.
I am. I've been really surprised. I feel like I've been more productive, but I also only have a cat at home. I'm not taking care of kids or anyone else, so it's just really easy for me to just tune into what I need to be doing and get it done. I know the situation certainly can be a little bit different for everyone else at home, so we wanted your take this morning. Definitely weigh in, let us know. One viewer wrote in that they could work from home to escape the office politics. So something to think about. So again, we're going to be taking your comments coming up here in the program. Definitely let us know how you feel about that. In the meantime, let us know how you feel about the weather as well. Thomas, what are we looking at today?
I always love the weather, one way or another. If it's sunshine, I'll find something to do outside. If it's raining, I'm going to enjoy the fresh scent of a nice, freshly fallen rain. And some areas have been seeing just steady rain all day, but it's been just a couple key spots. Basically from like Deer Park to Coeur d'Alene, you have been getting all the rain today. Most everywhere else has been dry, save for some spots just surrounding this area. But this has just been where this batch of showers have just hung out all morning. Now, by the time we get to the afternoon, I think it starts to migrate a bit more northward. So while Spokane's 12-hour forecast looks a bit more wet for the morning and dry for the afternoon, it might be vice versa for a couple other areas, especially north of I-90. We'll be detailing that coming up in a few moments. Otherwise, your high temperatures today largely in the 60s for most locations. A few upper 50s still lingering over North Idaho. That for this afternoon. I can promise a warmer weekend ahead, but not an entirely dry weekend. So a full breakdown there coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Thomas, thank you so much. In the meantime here, let's take a look at your headlines and 3 things to know on our Wednesday morning. A proposal to give Americans a second stimulus payment is on the table. The House could vote on the HEROES Act as early as Friday. It would also include $200 billion in hazard pay for essential workers who are on the front lines. Federal student loan forgiveness, $175 billion for housing assistance, and $75 billion in additional funding for coronavirus testing. Now, according to Forbes, individuals would receive a second $1,200 check. Those filing their taxes jointly would receive $2,400. Households would be eligible for $1,200 per dependent with a maximum of 3. If passed, it would also extend $600 per week in additional unemployment benefits through January. The Spokane COVID response team is revising criteria to expand testing capabilities. The revised guidelines encourage testing for all patients experiencing coronavirus symptoms, regardless of age or health status. The 2 main symptoms are cough and shortness of breath or difficulty breathing. Other symptoms that could prompt testing include fever, chills, repeated shaking with chills, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, and a new loss of taste or smell. Authorities in Wuhan, China will attempt to test all 11 million residents. Wuhan is considered the epicenter of the pandemic. Authorities decided to move forward with testing 10 days after discovering new infections. China was the first nation to put a large number of citizens in lockdown. It was also the first to ease those restrictions. And in case you missed it, Lilac Festival organizers canceled this weekend's mini Royal Court Parade. We first told you about the festival as a whole being canceled yesterday here on Up with KREM. Now, the plan was to hold a small parade on Saturday led by Spokane Police. But after talking to local health leaders, they canceled that event. This is the first time the festival has been canceled since World War II. Joshua, we'll send things to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Jen. 7:36 now on your Wednesday morning, and a lot of people are still waiting for their stimulus checks in the mail. Plenty of people, though, are saying they're confused with the checks that they have received. More and more claims are popping up of people finding checks addressed to deceased loved ones. Mark Minnick of Hayden, Idaho, is one of those people. He says he got his check addressed to his mother-in-law, who passed away a year and a half ago.
And I figure if it's computerized and the word deceased is on the check, the IRS must know she's deceased. So how did it get through any kind of computer screening to develop a check to start with? How many of these are going wrong? How many people aren't getting their checks? You'd think in this computer age, things could be just a little smarter.
This is just one example. People across the country have been reporting receiving stimulus checks for dead family members for weeks now. Here's what you need to know if it happens to you. The IRS says you should write the word void in the endorsement section on the back of the check. After that, send the check back to the IRS. But if you cashed it or if you received money through direct deposit for that person, the IRS says send a personal check or money order to the U.S. Treasury Department. The guidance also instructs that you write 2020 EIP and include the taxpayer identification number of the intended recipient of the check. Finally, include a brief explanation on why you have returned the check itself. In the meantime, under Washington's reopening plan, restaurants can resume dine-in capabilities under Phase 2. That plan calls for dining rooms to have only 50% of their normal capacity. Tables cannot have more than 5 people, and there is no bar area seating allowed for now. Restaurants must also abide by the following restrictions. Hand sanitizer should be available at the entry point for all staff and customers. Any condiments, that's typically left on a table like ketchup or hot sauce or soy sauce must be held in a single-use container or sanitized after each use. Now, if the restaurant does not offer table service, they must have protocols in place to ensure adequate social distancing at food and drink pickup stations and seating within their dining area. Tables must also be placed far enough apart to ensure dine-in guests can be seated at a table at a minimum of 6 feet away from others, or there must be a physical barrier like a wall separating booths and tables. Now, if the establishment does offer table service, you have to create a daily log of all customers and maintain that daily log for 30 days. That information includes telephone and email contact information and the time they came in. This will allow any contact tracing that might need to occur. Single menus, by the way, will be required for any in-person dining.
Well, it's a telltale sign of the warmer weather on the way in the inland northwest. You can hear them going down the street. We're talking about ice cream trucks. So right now, they're actually not considered essential during Washington's stay-home order. Now, according to the order, ice cream trucks fall under the category of mobile food vendors. That means they can't operate until Phase 2 of the state's reopening plan. And it's causing some confusion because food trucks in fixed locations can serve food to go, but mobile trucks are not allowed. So if you see or hear the ice cream truck, just know it's not allowed right now. They could be working in defiance of the state's stay-home order, and largely because they're traveling from so many different spots within the community instead of being stationary. Joshua?
Yeah, I know Jen, are a lot of concerns that, food trucks have with this same kind of issue. Kind of a bummer, but one thing I like is seeing the footage of an ice cream truck that actually serves ice cream, not just the little Tweety Bird or Bugs Bunny on the stick that I remember getting when I was a kid sometimes too. So a little sort of silver lining. I look forward to the day when we can go to the ice cream trucks here in Spokane, Jen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of my favorite things here in the Inland Northwest during summer is enjoying the gorge. You go to a lot of concerts out there, and they have ice cream trucks that'll come through the campgrounds. And on a hot summer day in Eastern Washington, nothing's better, than that cheapo ice cream that you got as a kid, and it melts, in 2 minutes. But looking forward to those days when they can return and we can all enjoy that safely.
That just means you got to eat it fast, Jen. That's all it means before it melts. All right, thank you, Jen. We will check back in with you in just a little bit. Today, everyone needs to know if it's their last chance, basically, to sign up to get our stimulus checks through direct deposit. After the break, we will show you how to sign up to get your check as soon as possible.